Yo YouTube, what's going on? Today we are talking about the benefits of having a good credit score, preferably an 800 credit score. Yeah. My name is Angikindslows Senatus, Angie for short. I'm a Kid 8 principal, father, and husband. And on this channel, I focus on topics revolving around debt, finances, and strategies and ways to impact our families for the future. If you like topics like this, please make sure to hit that like button, turn on notifications, and let's get it. For today's video, we're going to talk about the average FICO score per age, factors contributing to the growth of a person's FICO score, some overall trends in terms of credit and debt overall in the United States, and then we're going to get into some tips and some strategies that I use as a father, husband, principal, whatever, regular guy who is looking to find ways to increase his family and move them into the future. So I'm always looking for new things that I can do. Well, what I'm going to do is share not only some tips that I've actually used, but I'm also going to share some tips and some strategies that I've researched and heard from some of my friends that can benefit you so that you can go and get it. Let's get into this. If you have not seen my video about my debt journey, I'll post it up here. And then I'll also post my journey in regards to credit, and I'll also post that up here as well, so that you kind of get an understanding of who I am, kind of what's going on, my thought processes, and stuff like that. But for those of you who don't know, yeah, it was bad for me. It was a struggle to get to this point because I was living paycheck to paycheck. So the transition from going to poor credit score to good credit score took a minute, you know? And I think even, maybe it's just the fact that I'm a guy, I don't know. People say that men mature differently, I don't know. You know, I'm 38 years old. But at the end of the day, basically what happened is that, you know, it took me a while to actually mature up and understand money management. So if you're in that process of trying to figure all of this out, even as you are living your everyday lives, it's not too late for you to be able to do what you gotta do. And the biggest factor that helped me was understanding and creating a budget. So I also post a video up here as well about creating a budget, creating an emergency fund. You know, it's extremely important for you to make sure that you are implementing and doing some things to impact yourself for the future, because that will benefit you in terms of your credit. In terms of the average FICO score in terms of Americans, and when you look at this chart, you kind of get an understanding that as people progress and get older, their scores naturally progress. Let me post it up here. So the average score for someone between 20 and 29 is 662. The average score for someone between the ages of 30 to 39 is about 673. And the average score for someone who is between the ages of 40 to 49 is about 684. And the average score for someone between 50 and 59 is 706. And the average score for someone who's 60 plus is 749 points. And you know, I think I mentioned it before, I'm right about an 800 credit score as measured by Credit Karma. You guys know with Credit Karma, you basically need to give or take some additional points. You know, I'm not paying for no more FICO scores unless I got to. You know what I mean. But yeah, you basically can use that in terms of understanding your basic overall credit score. And also when you apply for new loans, they usually send you information identifying what your actual credit score is. Sadly, the reality is that if you are someone with a low to medium income, then what normally happens is that you have a lower, sometimes a lower credit score. This is just looking at facts, y'all. I'm just telling you the facts. But what I'm saying is, if you are in that situation, even with low to medium income, remember, it doesn't necessarily matter how much income you have. It's about how you choose to budget and your lifestyle. You know, remember, it's about a mindset. And the thing for me when I was growing up is that basically, you know, I didn't have the mindset to be able to manage the money and the finances that I had. You know, and I'll share a little story. Like, my parents came from Haiti, came to the United States, and was dead broke, you know, and they figured out a way to do it. They bought a home. They were able to make sure that I was able to get to college, and they did all that, you know, with, you know, $60,000, $70,000 between the both of them, you know. So when you look at that exactly, you can sit back and say, hey, listen, you can actually do it. It's about changing your mindset. For those of you who are wondering, I'll post it up here. Your FICO score, which is what is used to actually measure your credit worthiness, is based upon 35% of credit history, total debt, which is 30%, length of credit history, 15%, new credit, 10%, and credit mix, which is 10%. So ultimately, your payment history is a large portion of what's going on with your credit. You know, you have to make sure that you are making payments and you staying consistent. Even if you can for a while have to make minimum payments and then transition into doing, you know, larger payments, you want to make sure that you are consistently at least making the minimum payment to at least improve your score. And then you need to start hustling and doing what you need to do to start making sure that you're paying off the lowest credit card debt first. Around here, we got to make sure that we are eliminating debt, because at the end of the day, once you start eliminating that debt, yeah, your score is going to pop. So hyper focus on your payment history or your total debt / credit utilization. Yeah, it's extremely important. And start thinking about that in terms of your budget and the things that you need to do. Very quickly, sort of get an understanding of like the actual score range. They posted up here. Very poor is 300 to 499. Poor is 500 to 600. Fair is 601 to 660. Good is 661 to 780. And excellent is 781 to 850. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going for that 850. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that 850, but I'm gonna go for it. Yeah. And if you guys are Dave Ramsey followers, the idea is basically that you basically want to get to a point where you're not actually using your credit. But I'll be very honest with you, I kind of disagree with it, because no matter what and everything that I do, people need to know whether or not if I have good credit. If I want to purchase a home, if I want to buy a new car, if I'm going to buy it outright. If you're going to buy a car outright, which is the plan, then you don't necessarily need it. But at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that you have good credit. That is what it is. But when you pay off all your debts, which is what I'm striving for, then it becomes a different situation. So, you know, you gotta leverage that, but I'm gonna get that 850. Yeah. So let's just get right into some of these benefits, y'all. So if you are someone who has a really good credit score, then what happens naturally is that you will naturally get lower interest rates on everything. Understand that, and it's sad though, because at the end of the day, if you have a good credit score, then they naturally want to benefit you and give you lower interest. But if you have a bad credit score, and usually people who have lower credit scores sometimes have lower income, they automatically want to increase the payments or the interest on some of these things, largely because you're more of a liability. So, you know, one of the benefits of having that is I can go right into, like right now, I'm planning to purchase another home. And my goal is to purchase about 5 to 10 homes and use it as part of my rental property portfolio alongside with my investing and some other side hustle things that I'm doing to build my wealth and leave a legacy for my family. And as I'm applying for another home, what's happening naturally is that I can go right in there and just know that I'm gonna get some of the best rates. Once you start getting over a 720, preferably a 760, yeah. And that's some of the benefits of actually having a higher credit score, is that you're gonna get improved credit rates. Point number 2, another benefit of actually having a high credit score is that you're more than likely gonna get approved for mostly everything that you apply for. Like there was a point, and I have it in my story that I'll repost up here, where I was trying to go for $500,000 worth of credit. I don't know what I was going on. Like, it was what it was. I thought that you needed that in order for you to be rich, right? To have high credit limits. And right now I have about $70,000 to $80,000 worth of credit. I might want to increase it to 100,000 just because I just want to see that 100,000 number. As I'm applying for these things, I am not worried about being denied, because at the end of the day, I'm consistently paying my bills. I have very minimal debt. I'm just knocking off my student loans, and it is what it is. So that's one of the benefits of actually having a really high credit score, is that you basically can just apply for things and do what you gotta do. Another thing that's really important is leverage and negotiating power. Listen, at the end of the day, one of the things that we gotta do is when you go in with a good credit score, you can negotiate and say, hey, listen, I'm not happy with this rate, or I'm not happy with what's going on here. And you can be competitive, and you can say, hey, listen, someone over here is offering me this, you know, and use that to your advantage. So that's one of the benefits and the power of having a high credit score, is that basically at this point, people will compete to want to make sure that they are working with you. And understand, like, banks want to make money, and they want to know, if I give you this money, you're going to pay back the interest and you're going to be paying it back. So they're looking for more and more people that actually have good and high credit scores, so they can do what they got to do. Make sure whatever thing you borrow, you pay that thing back immediately. Another really good benefit is that you can increase your limits in terms of your credits or your lines of credit. You know, one of the things that I was doing was that, and it happens naturally, where basically every year I'll just get a natural increase in terms of my credit cards. And I'm actually asking for more of an increase as I progress along, you know, to go along my $100,000 journey of increased credit. I'm not trying necessarily to increase and get more credit cards, because I am looking to purchase more homes. So just so you're aware, like, you can actually, with your good credit score, begin the process of increasing your limits, and you can get more money and more lines of credit so you can purchase and do some of the things that you need to do. If you're in the process of looking for a rental or purchasing a home, well, that's a benefit of actually having a good credit score. At this point, I can go into a spot and not have to worry about someone denying me because I have a bad credit score or a poor credit score. Most places, most apartments will ask you to show proof that you actually have good credit, because that shows evidence that, you know, that you are consistent and you pay your bills. every little bit of money that you can develop and bring into your family and bring into your house so that you can do what you need to do, then you go right ahead and you go get it. Another really good benefit is just getting a cell phone. Like I've been buying my cell phones outright, buy from eBay and other locations like that, Amazon. I prefer used or refurbished because I hate the idea of what's going on with some of these prices and these rates, y'all. It's ridiculous. $1,300 for a cell phone? That's a computer. And nowadays, that's pretty much what it is. Like if I think about like how much time I spend on my phone and holding my phone, yeah, I get it. It's an expensive product because you basically live with your cell phone to do everything nowadays, you have a walking computer. But personally, if you want to get contracts, if you have a good credit score, then there's no need for a major deposit. It's easier for you to actually get a cell phone without actually putting a deposit for security. And that's one of the benefits of actually having a good credit score. Lastly, bragging rights. Listen, my daughter the other day came to me and said, "Dad, you big brain." I was like, "Big brain? Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I'm gonna start using that nowadays. Big brain." And the reality is that when you have a good credit score, you can start bragging on that. You big brain, and that's basically what that means. You're basically at a point right now where you're showing a level of maturity with your finances. You're consistent. You're able to pay your bills. Listen, there are people who are struggling every single day, living paycheck to paycheck. And I have a video up here about payday loan scams, and I'm doing a whole series about it because I feel like people need to understand the dangers of getting into some of these payday loans. But when you are involved in a payday loan situation, a lot of the reason why is because you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're increasing your lifestyle beyond your means, and it's creating a difficulty. So you've earned the right to be able to sit back and brag. Don't walk around your friends talking about, "Yeah, I got an 800 credit score." You just put it on your shirt. 800 credit score. That's what I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna go buy a shirt that says, "I got an 800 credit score, leave me alone." All right, y'all. If you have not done so, please make it a priority to like, comment, and subscribe. I post content like this consistently revolving our debt, finances, and strategies that you can use to impact your families for the future. As always, stay hungry, stay motivated, stay focused. Go get it.